Hello, my name is Larry Dobrow from MM+M, and I have the extremely good fortune today of being here with Doug Fulling of the recently renamed Precision AQ. We're going to hear a little bit about the new branding, about the company's access proposition, and so much more. Doug, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Larry, thanks for having me. It's great to see you again.
All right. Let's just start with the most basic one, Precision AQ. Tell us about it. Tell us about its formation and its evolution.
Yeah, thanks, Larry. Really excited to be talking about Precision AQ. It's a rebranding process that started in 2023, but the reality is we started this conversation 10 years ago when we started with acquiring probably one of the pioneers in payer marketing. We've continued to build out this business based on needs of our clients. And we think based on where the marketplace is going, you've got more complex therapies, more expensive therapies, that access is going to become a critical conversation moving forward in the industry. And so we know that we're already anchored really well in access, and we wanted to be able to have a conversation with our clients about expanding the meaning of access. And AQ stands for access quotient. And for us, that really highlights the gap that there is in the marketplace today. Our manufacturers and our clients are producing some of the most exciting therapies we've ever seen in the history of medicine. But just because you have an exciting therapy doesn't mean that a patient can actually receive that therapy.
Yep.
There's a big chasm between developing a therapy and ensuring that a patient gets access to it. So for us, we're on this mission to make sure that we're empowering access to life-changing medicines for all. And if you look at the organization and how we've built that, we've got capabilities across the spectrum to address the big obstacles that prevent patients from getting access, and even the smaller obstacles that may not be as well known. So we're on a mission to talk about payer marketing and market access, to provider access, to patient access. That's the purpose and the mission behind Precision AQ.
I think one of the reasons this makes, so much sense, from pretty much every perspective, access has sort of been a bolt-on for a lot of the larger agencies. They decide like, wait a second, we've been doing our creative, we've been doing our data, we've been doing everything else. We need that access piece. However, this is core to Precision AQ's offering. Was this just excellent foresight? Tell me a little bit about how that seed was planted, a good 10, 15 years ago to where it is now.
Yeah, our founders knew many, many years ago that with smaller patient populations, more and more rare diseases being discovered every day, that access was going to be critical to ensuring that patients could benefit from the medicines that were being developed. And the smaller the patient population, the more expensive the therapies, the more complex the therapies, the more things become challenging for patients to benefit from those therapies. And I think I applaud them that they recognize that very early on. We've got a clinical business that we can feed all of that great clinical information into an organization that can then translate that and help our clients navigate what I would call the access continuum. Starting off with, what are we doing from an evidence generation perspective? What are we doing to educate physicians on these new novel therapies that are coming to market and how they should be thinking about using them for their patients? All the way to educating patients on the benefits of these therapies. And those are the big obstacles that everybody is aware. But there are smaller things such as, where's this therapy going to sit in an electronic health record? How can a physician find that really easily? In addition to that, how do we create pull-through strategies and messagings that will support providers and patients so that they're comfortable with these new therapies? So we're really excited that, we've been fortunate to collect different companies that solve some of these problems. And for the longest time, Larry, I will say that we're just as guilty as some of our competitors out there. We've bought these businesses, we've kept them in silos, and I'm really excited to communicate Precision AQ to the industry, but I'm also excited for our employees to feel this new organization as a singular identity and put them together in the room. We're a group of experts, advisors, and creators that all bring a different lens to the table and to the conversation of access. And for us to put those people in our room so passionate about solving their individual problems to solve a broader problem for our clients, that's something that we can't wait for that to happen.
You touched on this a little bit in your answer, but access, do people sometimes underestimate its scope? I mean, it's not just like, okay, the ultimate goal is you want to get somebody a medication that needs it and, get that person better. But like you said, communications within EHRs, there are so many facets to this. Is it possible that clients don't quite get the grasp, the range, the scale of what you're putting together?
I think I think people understand it in their own silos, right? They understand the concept of access when they're talking to providers. They understand the concept of access when they're supporting patients. But how you bring all that together to create a comprehensive strategy, I think, is where we want to push the industry. We want to put more people in the room who are looking at this gap that exists in the marketplace, to have them brainstorm and solve these issues together across.
Certainly, when you put together a handful of disparate brands, I believe 8 are coming together for this.
That's correct.
Yes, 8 are coming together. Tell me about the challenges that come with that. I mean, there's always a little bit of a like, well, this is my brand. This is where I've worked. Were there any ego/political concerns? Walk me through the mechanics of it.
None whatsoever. No, I'm kidding.
People with their T-shirts, they have to get new T-shirts. It's terrible. Yeah.
Change is really hard. And change is hard when you are coming from organizations that have been really successful in their own rights.
Exactly, yeah.
That have an identity, that have a culture. And so I will never, ever say that this was easy. It is really challenging. And I think it all starts with the people and the leaders that you have. Mm-hmm. And, 2022, I think, was a tough year for everybody. Yeah. And we benefited from those tough times because everybody within the organization, when I started, I had a chance to do deep dives and meet with our leaders and speak with our people. And they're like, we need to do something together. We want to be part of something bigger. And because things were challenging, I think everybody sort of came to this realization at the same time, saying, let's do something big, right? We know that we've got capabilities, but we really don't understand the full picture. And because we want to do something bigger, we want to have more of an impact in the industry, people were willing to let go of that legacy identity and move things forward. It's not easy. And because of the brands that we are announcing and taking to the marketplace, in its meaning, I think people have been more likely or more open to moving forward because it resonates with them. Who can't get behind the fact that we want our sole purpose in the industry to be empowering access to life-changing medicines for all. And so when you talk about a greater brand and losing your identity and playing for one team to go solve that, people are inspired.
It's a larger cause.
Yes, absolutely.
But before we turned on the cameras, we were talking about one of the brands that you thought might have an issue of possibly giving up its identity. But when they heard what you just articulated, they kind of jumped right in. Tell us that story.
Yeah, it was really validating for us. Announcing a new brand to the marketplace is nerve-wracking, right? We're really anxious to see how everybody's going to respond, make sure that the messaging resonates with everybody. But even more nerve-wracking is when you're presenting a new brand to a group of agencies, right? We have people that wake up and think about this every day. So we're on our executive leadership meeting and we announced it and everybody was really excited and supportive. And then we announced it to the broader organization. And when we announced it to the broader organization, it was always with the mindset that we would hold off rebranding some of the more recent acquisitions. We recently acquired a company called Makara Health in the UK. Great organization, great founder-led business. And when we announced the new brand with the intent of delaying rebranding Makara, that leader came to us and said, no, we love this. We want to move to it sooner than later. And that was validation that people understand where we're going. They understand what we want to communicate, and they're excited about it.
Yep. Proof of concept in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about the other piece of it? Now that you've started to roll this out to clients and everyone else, some of the feedback from the market. I know you had said previously that clients wanted to know exactly where they sat, who they were working with, and which brand they were working with. Tell me about those conversations and maybe some of the concerns that were brought to you.
Yeah, so far, and we're still early days, the feedback has been positive. Yeah. The feedback that as we discussed earlier, we did some market research and people know us in the industry for the service that we're providing to them in that particular vertical. And we're known for producing high quality, data-driven work. We love you guys, but we have no idea what the rest of your organization does. And we have no idea who your organization is, with all the different, what I would call last names of precision with our different brands. And so when we announced the fact that we were going towards a singular identity, a lot of the reactionary feedback was like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because you guys are so confusing and you're so difficult to work with.
Was this something that was brought up previously, or was it just like, we love working with these guys. We're not going to worry about the fact that sometimes we get the brands kind of mixed up?
Just purely from we're one organization, we can create a singular approach to our clients, put all of our experts in the room to solve a bigger problem with them, rather than showing up and, our client throws $100 on the table and then, we figure out who's going to take the biggest percentage of that $100. So we really wanted to come to the marketplace with a unified team, a unified message, and our clients are looking for that. They want a partner that can help solve these bigger access problems. And we think that coming together as one organization is going to make that much easier. And then you get into the legalities of it and looking at MSAs and trying to simplify that. Where today we have separate contracts for different businesses.
I assume most of the back channel stuff is going to be taken care of and everything else. When this, by the time this publishes, it's going to be out in the world. How do you want it to be perceived? How do you expect it to be perceived?
Yeah, I want it to be perceived as an opportunity to look at the business a little bit differently, look at access a little bit differently, an opportunity to really drive change. I said it before with all these new novel therapies that are coming out, especially in cellular therapies, there's so much potential. The impossible has never been more possible now. We're creating cures in the marketplace. And so what I want is people to see the opportunity to put together teams, both our team and their team, to look at the broader access continuum and focus on this concept of an access quotient. What does that really mean? And how do we take the therapy that we have developed and ensure that a patient can benefit from that in the most seamless way possible? When I think about healthcare, the fact is that we're all probably going to be patients at some point in time.
Inevitably.
And when you become a patient, when you're diagnosed with the disease, that's when you're most anxious. And the last thing you want to have to do is figure out, am I getting the most optimal therapy for me that's going to benefit me? That should be a given in today's world. And that's not always a given, based on where you live. That's a big factor in what type of therapy you're going to get and how educated and knowledgeable your physician is about the newest therapies out there. So getting back to your question, I hope people see the opportunity to work together to solve a bigger problem that is only going to become more complex as we're bringing new therapies to the market.
Absolutely. We're compiling our Agency 100 annual report, and one thing that jumped out at me as I was putting it together is that there's really nobody doing exactly what Precision AQ is doing. I mean, certainly there are access-only firms and everything else, but you seem to be doing it on a scale and in a organized manner that pretty much nobody else can match at this point. How do you make sure that's known? How do you get that out there? What's your way of, saying like, listen, here's who we are, here's the components that we have? What's sort of the internal marketing strategy?
Yeah, for us, it's being really curious. I'm a big fan of Ted Lasso, and that's something that Ted Lasso always talks about is being curious. And I want our people to be curious. And I want us to go in and talk to our clients about solving their problems and understanding their problems. The more we can lean into those conversations, the more I think people are going to realize what we're capable of doing. And that for us is going to be the key. So we've got to do a lot internally, Larry, because we're an organization that is coming together and people are learning internally all of our own capabilities. So we're focusing there. But for our clients, it's really invite us in. Let's have a cup of coffee and let's talk about what's keeping you up at night. What are the things that you're worried about, and
what can we do to solve them?
To help solve those,
get you back to sleep.
And then even getting into the details. There are so many things that can potentially disrupt a patient's access to a therapy. What's happening from a clinical pathway and how those are changing on a regular basis. There's just so many pieces that have to come together to enable that patient getting access to therapy.
You mentioned just before, things keeping clients up at night. What are some of the things that keep you up at night? I know one of the issues that the industry seems to be dealing with right now is talent. There's just not enough of it. A lot of people, especially after the pandemic, they want to be a part of this. Health is obviously so fundamental to everything.
Yeah.
And, we have our ultimate test case over the last couple of years. What are some of the headaches that you have, and how are you going to get past them?
I think it's bringing everyone along for the ride. That we've underwent a lot of change within our organization. We restructured how we think about the business. We're bringing some of our teams together. And when you're going through change, it feels overwhelming at times. We're asking everybody to just continue to push through.
Trust us.
We're going to a great place. Trust us. And I think that's always difficult when you're putting a lot of change in the organization. And there's been just macroeconomic challenges right now as well. So we're really focusing on a lot of change. The market's not been where it used to be, and so we've got to continue to work together, stay together through this time. And for me as a leader, I just want to make sure that I'm communicating as much as possible, continuing to talk about the vision, and also highlighting, Larry, that these are hard things.
Yes,
these are not easy things that we're trying to achieve. We've got to look at how we put together incentive compensation across a broader organization, how we're measuring performance across a broader organization. And those are all difficult things when you're trying to get 1,300 people on board with this new direction that we're going, when where we were previously wasn't that bad, right? We were doing pretty well in each of these different verticals, but we have so much more potential coming together as one organization and putting our people in front of our clients to talk about bigger challenges and trying to solve those.
Doug, just one last question for you. We know what the immediate future looks like. Let's say we're having this conversation again a year from now. Where do you hope to be? What are some of the priorities that you hope to have checked off a year from now?
Yeah, for me, it's really looking at our people and seeing how they have been able to grow through this change, and see the organization continue to do well. So that's obviously very internally facing. I'm excited for our people to see this rebrand galvanize the organization, and for us to realize our full potential in solving this concept of an access quotient. And then for our clients, I hope in a year from now, they see us as that true partner, somebody they want to call in and say, you know what, we're really stuck here, whether that be from a brand perspective, whether it be from a medical and scientific communications perspective, or going back to our payer marketing roots. We want them to see us as that true partner who can come in and just help problem solve. And we want to do that humbly. We want to do that with expertise. And we also want to have fun, Larry. I think, at the end of the day, when I came to this organization and met with our people, I just saw so much talent, and you can't help but fall in love with the leaders and the founders. And this is our time. This is our opportunity to bring it together. And I'm a person that wants to have a lot of fun in doing that. And I'm just super fortunate to have great people around me that also want to have fun and do great work for our clients.
We got to have that conversation again a year from now. I want to see where this goes, because I think it's a wonderful proposition and something the market really needs. So let's book the train from Philly for about a year from today. Okay.
Yeah. No. I look forward to that. And I guess my parting words are, when we look back a year from now, I hope that people also understand this concept of an access quotient, what AQ stands for, precision AQ. And one of the things that we want to talk to our clients about, which I think is unique to healthcare, is that it really requires this marriage of IQ and EQ. You need to have great science. You need to have great data in order to get medicines approved. But
you also need...
We're dealing with patients, right? We're dealing with people's lives, and you have to have a high level of emotional intelligence as well. And so we like that blend coming together in Precision AQ, our new identity, because we think it really helps address both the opportunity and the challenges that we have in the industry.
All right. Come back soon. Let's do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks
Doug,
for having me.
Thanks so much. And for MM+M, I'm Larry Dobrow. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.